Heidi of the Mountain. High in the Alps, where the wind sang to the eagles, a little girl named Heidi arrived at her grandfather's door. Her aunt, who had brought her there, left without a backward glance. Heidi looked up at the tall, bearded man whose face was as weathered as the mountain stone. He looked down, his heart a fortress she had yet to breach. The cabin was small, with the scent of pine wood and drying cheese. Grandfather showed Heidi the hayloft where she would sleep. Through a small, round window, she saw the whole valley spread out below, bathed in the warm, dreamlike colors of sunset. This little circle of glass was her window to a new world. That first night, a storm raged, shaking the little cabin. Heidi wasn't scared. She said the mountain was roaring a welcome song. Hearing this, something in her grandfather's heart stirred. The next day, he carved a small, sturdy stool just for her, his large, rough hands surprisingly gentle with the wood. Heidi soon met Peter, the goatherd, a boy as wild and free as his flock. Together they led the goats up to the high meadows, where the air was thin and sweet. They shared fresh milk and hard bread, their laughter echoing against the silent peaks. The mountain became Heidi's playground and her teacher. She learned the names of the flowers and the calls of the birds. She would lie in the tall grass, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face, watching the clouds drift by like giant sleepy sheep. She was happy, and her joy was a light that even her grandfather couldn't resist. But one day, her aunt returned. She had found a place for Heidi in the city of Frankfurt as a companion for a wealthy, invalid girl. Heidi cried, and her grandfather's face grew dark with a storm of his own. But her aunt was firm, and Heidi was led away from her sun-drenched mountain world. In Frankfurt, Heidi lived in a grand, silent house with a girl named Clara, who was kind but could not walk. From her window, Heidi saw no mountains, only a sea of gray rooftops. She missed the sound of the wind in the fir trees and the taste of her grandfather's toasted cheese. A deep sadness settled over Heidi. She began to walk in her sleep, her heart dreaming of the Alps. The kind doctor saw her homesickness was an illness no medicine could cure. "The child must go back to the mountain air," he declared, "or she will fade away." The journey home was a blur of joy. When she saw her grandfather waiting, she ran into his arms. He lifted her high, burying his face in her hair, and for the first time, Heidi felt a tear from his eye land on her cheek. He was no longer a fortress. He was her home. The next summer, Clara came to visit the mountain. The air, so fresh and alive, was a tonic. Grandfather, with a gentleness no one in Frankfurt had ever seen, would carry Clara out into the sunshine and feed her fresh goat's milk to make her strong. With Heidi and Peter's help, Clara began to try and stand. They would support her, one on each side, cheering for every wobbly effort. The goats would watch, their bells jingling, as if they were cheering too. Then one miraculous afternoon, as she reached for a beautiful blue flower just beyond her grasp, Clara took a step, and then another. She was standing, then walking, all on her own. Heidi rushed to hug her, two friends bathed in the golden light of the Alps, where the mountain itself seemed to know the art of healing.